Good day, students. This is Miss Cowart, and today I'm going to be going over the last tutorial in Dragon Nation Ornamation case study where we're doing a cost analysis on a Christmas ornament that we're rolling out for the holiday season. Now, you've been given the job of gathering all this cost information, and you have been speaking to your management team, and they've given you a lot of information here. Some of the costs they gave you were already calculated for you, but you do have several calculations that you need to do yourself. So we're going to go ahead and work our way through these, and I'm actually going to be having you use spreadsheet formulas to have your spreadsheet calculate the math for you. Now, we did use these before, if you'll remember, in the personal finance spreadsheet we did, and we did learn at that time that formulas always start with an equal sign, and you can make any of the cells on your spreadsheet do math for you by entering a formula. Now, if you'll look in the calculations column, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 formulas to do, and most of them, when we do the formula, will carry over to the cost column with the exception of the surface area. This one right here is only going to be a number that we use in this equation that will carry over to our cost column. So let's start with manufacturing. Now, if you'll remember, we were told that the egg bot was going to cost $300. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Sorry, guys. Okay, so on NRC column here, we've got our egg bot costing $300, and we're going to divide it by the 10,000 ornaments that we should be able to get out of that egg bot. Now, if you'll remember, formulas begin with an equal sign, and we have the math already here. Now, it's possible you may have put a comma right here in your 10,000, and I'm going to tell you that won't work well with formulas in a sheet. So you're going to want to back that comma out, and then all you have to do is come up here to your formula bar. Remember, when you have a formula, it shows up here. Go to the beginning and put an equal sign, and then simply hit enter. Okay, now let's click back on that cell, which is C6, and look at the formula bar. This is telling you that C6 is going to equal 300 divided by 10,000, and it's going to display the answer in cell C6. So we know now that manufacturing is going to cost us 3 cents an ornament. So we are ready now to put that in our cost column. Now you can actually program cell D6 just to equal the answer in C6 by typing an equal sign and clicking on C6 and then hitting enter. And when you look at that again, click back up on D6, you'll see that the 3 cents is showing there, and in the formula bar it says that D6 is going to equal whatever's in C6. So if you change these numbers, it'll automatically reflect over here in the cost column, which is convenient. Okay, so now we're going to be moving down. We were given facilities cost. We're going to move down to plastic. Now, we are getting plastic ornaments already manufactured, but we are charged by the surface area. And the surface area is designated by SA, but we're going to back that abbreviation out and leave the equal sign because this is a formula and we know we have to start those with the equal sign. And our formula is to multiply pi, which is 3.14, times the diameter times the diameter. Now, in order to get this to work on the spreadsheet, we're going to need to remove those parentheses, and we need to know what the diameter of the ornament is. I happen to know by looking at the box, the diameter of the ornament is 80 millimeters. So we are going to multiply by using the multiplication symbol on your number pad, which is above the number 9, and it looks like a star. We're going to multiply that times the 80 millimeters, and then we have to multiply it times the 80 millimeters again because it's to the second power, 80 millimeters to the second power, and hit enter. And that's going to give you the surface area. And this would be in millimeters squared. So it's 20,096 millimeters squared is the surface area. So now all we have to do is multiply the surface area. That's my doggie, Annabeth. She's barking, and I think my daughter might even be coming home. So you may hear some racket. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to multiply that surface area times 0.00001. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go up here to our formula bar, and we're going to press the equal sign. And we're going to click on cell C8 and multiply that times 0.00001 to get the cost. Oops, I deleted my multiplication sign. So hit enter. Now that was tricky, I know, but we now know that the cost for the plastic is 21 cents, and about 21 cents an ornament. So I'm going to go over that one more time because it's a bit tricky. We got the surface area of the ornament here, and we need to multiply this number times 0.00001. So I don't have to put that long number in there. When I put my equal sign in for C9, cell C9, I can just put an equal sign and click on C8, and it'll use whatever values in C8 and then you can put in your multiplication sign and the number you need to multiply it by and hit enter, and it will calculate it for you. Now, what's the advantage of doing that? Let's say we wanted to make 1 inch ornament, or let's say we wanted to make 40 millimeter ornaments. We could recalculate our surface area, and it would automatically calculate how much plastic or the cost of the plastic. So that is the advantage to that. Now, we can go ahead and extend this cost over in D9 by clicking on D9, putting an equal sign, and simply clicking on the cost and hitting enter. Now, we just basically programmed D9 to equal the answer to C9. That's all we did, and it went ahead and put the decimal to 2 decimal points for us. Okay, now let's move on to the cost for the ink. We found out that the pens were a nickel a piece, and we can make 50 ornaments per pen. So basically, all we have to do is turn our calculation into a formula by clicking up on the formula bar and hitting the equal sign and hitting enter. Okay, so that's a very small cost there. It's 0.001. We're going to go ahead and extend that cost out, equals, and clicking there and hitting enter. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make that actually, since it rounds to 0, we know it's going to be a minimal cost. So I'm not going to program that one that way. I'm just going to manually enter the value a penny. So 0.01. Okay. Now, we've got our ink in here. The last calculation is labor. And we've got a regular division problem here. It was $10 an hour for the labor, and we can make 5 ornaments an hour. So we're just going to click on that cell and again go up to the formula bar. Oh, it's making that a date. So we're going to put an equal sign and 10 divided by 5 and hit enter. It's still making it a date. Let's format that to a number. There. Now, that gives us the correct answer because 10 divided by 5 is 2. So we're going to put our equal sign in and click on the $2 and hit enter. And we've programmed D11 to equal the answer that is in C11. Okay, so that takes care of all of our costs with the exception of the 10% on the sales price because we don't know what the sales price is yet. So that is our cost table. Now, we're going to talk about this in class, but basically we just need to add up all these costs. So I'm going to put a total line here. We're going to add these up. And if you'll remember from our previous spreadsheet activity, you go over here to the Cigna to find your sum function, and you just click on that and click sum. And it gives you the formula in the cell. And all you have to do is highlight what you want it to add up, which is all of this, and hit enter. Okay, so the total for all of the costs is actually called the break even. So this is the break even point. So for every ornament, even with every single option chosen, like if you were to choose all 3 packaging options, all 3 advertising options, and all 3 distribution options, your ornament's going to cost you $4.34. Now, yesterday we talked about the other vocabulary that we need in order to calculate a sales price, and that is the markup. Markup is here. And you're going to add the markup to the break-even point to get the sales price. So I'm going to move this down a little bit. Sale price. I'm going to make that mark up. I'm going to make that U capital. Okay, now yesterday I told you we're going to use the markup of 1.5. That's going to be our markup. So basically the way you calculate the markup is, I'm going to put colons here too. Okay. Now basically the way you calculate the markup is you multiply 1.5 times the break-even point, and then you add it, and then you get the markup. So you would want to put a formula in here. So you're going to put an equal sign, start with a formula, and you're going to type in 1.5 and your multiplication sign, which is above your 9 on your number pad, and then click on the value for the break-even point and hit enter. Okay, the advantage of doing this using the cell where the break-even point is, let's say you start analyzing this data and you decide you really don't want that wrap with the ribbon, take that out, and it's going to recalculate both the break-even point and the markup for you. It'll change the number. Okay, you see how that happened? I'm going to put that cost back in so you can see it change. See? It'll calculate it for you and you don't have to enter that data again or do any formulas. Okay, so the sales price or the sale price. We decided that the sales price is, or the formula for the sales price is just simply to add together the break-even point to the markup, or you add up the break-even point and the markup. So I'm trying to put a colon in here. There we go. Okay, now let's add up. Let's go to our sum function here again, and you're simply going to highlight those two numbers and hit enter. Okay, so if we choose in our decision-making process every single option we have, we're going to need to sell our ornament at $10.85 a piece. Okay, now as the project manager, it's going to be up to you to decide in the areas where you have leeway of affecting the price of the price and the cost of your ornament. Make your decisions accordingly. Start thinking about what you might want to do. You may only want to use the blister wrap, and that'll take 8 cents off. Or let's see, that's not going to affect the cost of your ornament very much, though. Or you may want to just do away with the blister wrap because you can't afford it. Or you may want to go down here to advertising and only advertise in newspapers and only use local vendors, and then you could save 25 cents an ornament, but you would have to add 10% of the sales price to your bottom line. So let's see what that 10% of the sales price would be. And I'm not going to put it in this regular costing. I'm going to make it a special line item for that. Basically, you're going to make a formula for that. So let's say it's going to equal the sales price times, which is above your 9, 10%, which is 0.10, and then we're going to add that to the sales price again. Okay, so it would be 10% is going to be 1085. It's going to be only, yeah, that's about, if you chose to go with all the other options and went like a full scale rollout. Now, you're going to have to make a decision as the product manager where you can cut corners here. And the places you can do that, again, are the packaging, the advertising, and the distribution. So go ahead and make your decisions. First, make your spreadsheet look like this one, and then make the decisions on what you want to do about the 3 options that you can control. I'm going to go ahead and make a note out here that this is local vendor price. There we go. And I'm just going to pull that out. And we might even want to highlight that. So let's go in here and choose a fill color of yellow. And that'll make it nicely highlighted. Okay, so I'm going to make the whole screen smaller. And this is all of the information that you need. This is your completed spreadsheet right here. Okay, so go ahead and make your decisions, and then you're going to need to move on to the conclusions paragraph. If you have questions, please let Ms. Cowart know. I'll be glad to help you. Thanks, guys.